Okay, we're back again. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is part three. Okay. And we left off, we were talking about with Yahshuwah, how Yahshuwah taught Torah, because people tried to make Yahshuwah be anti-Torah, and Yahshuwah was Torah in the flesh, right? As we should be Torah, walking not in the flesh, because the flesh can't be, but he was Torah in manifestation, right? And so we, as followers of Yah, are to be Torah in manifestation in every capacity, not just not eating pork and eating shrimp and keeping the feast days, but all of the things that go along with that. See, we missed the whole thing of being Torah compliant, because we're supposed to have some real estate, we're supposed to have some businesses, we're supposed to have land, we're supposed to have things to prosper in life, but we got religion in most cases. Many people got religion. They got anger, frustration, they're mad, right? We're supposed to have joy bubbling up inside of us, right? But instead, we falling for the Mickey and the drink. We got religion, right? But let me get back. So part 3, this is basically to open up the eyes of those. I'm not here trying to convince anybody to re-embrace the Messiah or to not reject the Messiah, but I'm just presenting to you passages that share with me that most people fall out with the so-called New Testament and the Messiah, etc. Right? Now, going back in, so we left off talking about how Yahshuwah was not anti-Torah. Right? Now, what I want to do is I always say that a lot of times people don't comprehend what Yahshua's mission was. We think Yahshuwah came to die for our sins and we don't have to worry about keeping the law, because all we got to do is just believe in Jesus and we saved, sanctified, and full of the Holy Ghost, right? No, that's not what Yahshuwah came to do, right? And prayerfully, we're going to show you that in this particular section right here, right? Okay, now, going back in. So Yahshuwah actually did us a favor, brothers and sisters, because through him, right, when Yahshuwah came in the physical flesh, his intent was, what did Yahshuwah say? I am come but for the lost sheep of the house, right, of Israel. That's what the Messiah said, right? He told the disciples, we'll pull up a couple verses here just for the sake of it, right? All right. So Matthew's, this is what the Messiah told the 12. The 12, Yahshuwah sent forth, command them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans enter you not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? And as you preach, say, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. How about that? What was Yahshuwah saying? My original precept that I call the nation of Israel to be the kingdom of priests. See, a lot of Israelites never get it, right? Right? We do our lessons on the Shabbat, and we come from Exodus chapter 19, right? Showing everybody that this is the priesthood, this is the precept, right? The Most High said in verse 5, if you will obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a set apart or Kodesh nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. The Most High said nothing about religion. So many Israelites fall into the mode of religion. The Most High didn't give us a religion. He gave us what? What was it called? Kingdom of priests. I mean, we ought to be the pace setters. We ought to be the mentors. We ought to be the role models to the world of what it means to be a kingdom of priests. But no, we're still employed in the system of the world, right? When the Most High gave us the knowledge that we have, we should be, I was talking with my Isha this morning, we are supposed to have our own in the lands of captivity. What did the Most High say, right, to Israel, right? He said, you're going to be in this captivity a long time. He told them to build houses, right? Isaiah 65. He says, build houses, inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. Okay? I'm sorry, that's not the one I wanted. The one I wanted was Jeremiah 29. He says, thus saith Yah of hosts, this is 29 and 4, right? He says, thus saith Yah of hosts unto Israel, unto all that were carried away captives. Where are they? Captives, right? Whom I have called to be carried away from Jerusalem into Babylon, right? We always say America's Babylon, right? Or more specifically, where Israel was carried captive is Babylon, right? That's another lesson, but let's get back. He says, while you're in Babylon, build houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, eat the fruit thereof. Take wives, beget sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give daughters to your husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that you may be increased there and not diminished, right? So that's what the Most High, that's what the priesthood is. But no, instead, we have embraced another religion that's put on the same shelf as Christianity, right? Right? We're in the system of the world. We're not creating in the land of captivity our own system as a whole. We have some Israelites, praise God for those that are doing, right? For the most part, we still stuck in corporate America. We're still servants in corporate America, right? Instead of taking those talents and abilities, the skills that the Most High blesses us with, and to branch out and to build, why can't we have universities in the different places where those of us who have returned to the covenant? Why can't we have schools? Why can't we have business entrepreneurships that are owned and ran by covenant keeping sons and daughters, right? But no, we have fallen for a religion and we embrace the excuse and say, oh, we're in captivity, we can't have that. But that's not what the Most High called us to, right? So I'm saying that to say this: when you comprehend the purpose why Yahshuwah came, why did Yahshuwah say, go not to the Gentiles, but go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? Why did he say that, right? Why did he say, go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? Why did he say in Matthew 15:24, he said, I am not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel? Why did he say that? Why did he say that, huh? Because his intention was to restore us back to being the priesthood. And I'm going to show you some more on that as we continue in this particular sharing. So let's go back into my notes here. And what I want to point out is that so Yahshuwah did us a favor, because through him, the priesthood, the sons of Aharon, were fired, right? The sons of Aharon were fired, right? So we could be reinstated back to the kingdom of priesthood, right? To the nations, the priesthood, as we read in Exodus 19, right? The kingdom of priests, right? That's what Yahshuwah initiated, right? And at that time, right, he was going to gather us back from the lands where we were scattered at that time, right? Now, Yahshuwah said he desired, right, to gather Israel. All right. I want to point that out real quick. Just came to my mind, so I'm kind of going along with it. Okay, we rolling with it. I'm getting some notifications on my computer while I'm trying to record, but that's okay. Okay, so I want to go to Matthew, I think it is, right? Where the Messiah said, is it Matthew's? Luke chapter 13, right? The Messiah said, O Jerusalem, which kills the prophets, and stoneth them that are sent unto you. How often would I have gathered thy children together, as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and you would not? You would not what? You would not what? You would not hear the message that Yahshuwah was preaching. Return to Yah, backsliding heifer. Right? Yahshuwah was teaching the people of his day, the Israelites. That's why he said, I'm not going to sheep to the world, to the Gentiles. Don't go into the way of the Gentiles, but go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why? Because I'm trying to put these so-called Israelites back in their place of priesthood. I don't want them to be under the sons of Aaron because they messed up. I want every Israelite to walk in Torah so we can dominate and be an example of what it means to be a priest of Yah in every land where we were scattered, right? So where we are, we're supposed to be teaching people, right? In America, we're supposed to be teaching people how to be sons and daughters of the covenant of Yah. We're supposed to be an example, right? We lead by example, not by talking. We got too much talking going on among Israelites. Everybody talking, they serving Yah. You ain't serving Yah, right? You have embraced a form of religion and not served Yah. And that's what we all have fallen guilty of. And man, I tell you, I wish I had somebody teaching this to me 20 years ago. I'd have a cruise line right now. All right, but let's get back. I digress. So the Messiah said, O Jerusalem, thou wouldst kill the prophets and stoned them that are sent to you. How often would I have gathered you, your children together, as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, right? And you would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. Verily I say unto you, you shall not see me until you say, until the time come when you shall say, blessed is he that comes in the name of Yahshuwah. So Yahshuwah didn't come in his own name. He came in his Father's name. And Yahshuwah said that another will come in his own name. Him you will hear. Who was that one that they heard? Paul, right? The Pharisee, right? So most of Christianity followed the doctrine of Paul. They don't follow what Yahshuwah taught. Yahshuwah taught Torah. Paul taught you're not under the law, right? Okay. Now let's continue. So that's what Yahshuwah did. He came to reinstate Israel back to the priesthood. And how do we know that? If we go to see what one of the Israelites, the chief speaker of Israel, right? Shimon Kefa, right? And Shimon Kefa, let's go there real quick. First Peter chapter 2, right? We're going to read verse 5. Okay. Verse 5 says, ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house and a set apart priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifice acceptable unto Yah by Yahshuwah the Messiah. So what is he saying? What is he simply saying there? He's saying that Yahshuwah came to reinstate you back to the priesthood so you can offer up spiritual sacrifices, not just religious, not just animal sacrifices, but spiritual sacrifices wherein you dominate in the world that you were placed in the lands of captivity until the Messiah comes and gathers you from those lands of captivity, right? He said, blessed is he that is doing when he comes. So when the Messiah comes, is he going to see you doing the work of Yah, or have you just blended in with the world system and you become like the world, right? No, we got religion on our brain. That's what's wrong with Israelites. We got religion, right, on our brain. We're not walking in kingdomship. We're not walking in the covenant of Yah. We're walking in religion. Religion has gotten us nothing. Put on the same shelf with other religions, right? But the Most High called us to be dominant in this world, to be kings and priests and to rule and to be an example. We ought to have our own banks. We ought to have our own money in captivity. And stop using Deuteronomy 28 as an excuse of, well, we Israel, we're under the curse. The Most High said that I'll bless, he said in Deuteronomy 30, right? There'll be blessing and there'll be curses on you, right? So why don't we have some blessings? Why we always operate in the curse syndrome? See, we got a religion, brothers and sisters, right? So Yahshuwah came to reinstate us back, to give us a mindset of being a kingdom of priests, not just another religion on the shelf, right? All right. So Shimon Kefa, back to Shimon Kefa. So he said a spiritual house is a code that's priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices unto Yah by Yahshuwah the Messiah. So therefore, we don't need the sons of Aaron because that wasn't the Most High's precept. We fell on that. We fell onto that concept because when we saw the thunders and lightnings in Exodus 20, we didn't want that responsibility. We got afraid. So we said, oh, speak to Shemaiah, speak to Moses. We'll hear him, right? But don't speak to us again lest we die, right? No, But Yahshuwah said, look, the Most High called you for a reason, and I'm here to reinstate you back to that place, right? Now, so look at verse 6, right? All right. So he says, wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect precious, and he that believe on him shall not be confounded, right? So, but he says, here's the kicker. Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient. See, even Shimon Kefa got it. He said, to them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same as made the head of the cornerstone. He's a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense. To them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed, right? Right? So the Most High appointed us to this righteous status of being rulers, of being a kingdom of priests. And that's what Yahshuwah did. He came in the flesh to reinstate us back. And he was going to, at that time, gather us back. But because we rejected Yah's law, statutes, and commandments, and we embraced a religion, he couldn't do it. He was hindered by our own flesh. All right. Now let's go further. Okay. Hebrews 7. This is what is called commonly often read, but misunderstood, right? We're going to break it down, right? I got 4 minutes left to do this then. So Hebrews chapter 7, right? So let's go 7 and 5. Go to Hebrews chapter 7, right? Verse 5. All right. Verily, verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who receive the office of priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law that is of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. But, verse 6, he whose descent is not counted from them received tithes of Abraham, and bless him that had the promise. Verse 7, and without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. That here men that die receive tithes, but there he received them, of whom it is witnessed that he liveth, right? Now, what I want to do is, let's skip down to verse 11, right? If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood. Stop for a second. What is he saying? Perfection was not by the Levitical priesthood. That was not Yah's precept. His precept was found in Exodus 19. That's why you have to follow us on the Shabbat, because we push the precept, which is the kingdom of priests, not a religion, right? Very few Israelites have embraced the priesthood, right? We're still operating under religion. We're still looking to the Levitical priesthood, which is not the Most High's precept, right? It was his permissible will and not his perfect will. But that's another lesson, right? So if perfection were by Levitical priesthood, for under it the people received Torah, right? What further need was there that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek or Melchizedek and not be called after the order of Aharon? What is that saying? That's saying that the Most High didn't want, that was not his choice. That was the people's choice, was for us to be under the priesthood of the sons of Aharon. Okay, verse 12. I'm going to try to finish this out. I might go a little over the 20 minutes. For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law, right? Now, skip down to verse 14. For it is evident that Yahshuwah sprang out of Yehudah, of which tribe Shemaiah spoke nothing concerning priesthood. How about that, right? And it is yet far more evident, for that after the similitude of Melchizedek, there arises another priest, right? Who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of the endless life, right? For he testified, thou art the priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, right? Now, so let's skip down real quick. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read it in its entirety on your own time, just for the sake of this video, okay? But this man continueth ever have an unchangeable priesthood, wherefore he is able to save them to the uttermost that come to Yah by him, seeing he ever lived to make intercession for them, right? So what is that saying? That's saying simply that Yahshuwah came to intercede for Israel, to bring Israel back to the place of not religion, but priesthood, right? Priesthood. When we get that on our belt, right, we can deal with the stiff-necked rebellious Israelites in our community, because when they see Israelites walking in Torah and exemplifying business and exemplifying agriculture, exemplifying schools and so forth, and look at what the Jews do. They have their own communities, right? They have their own business schools. So they're actually more in line with kingdom principle as in captivity than we are, right? Because they're operating it as Torah has instructed them to have communities, right? But we make excuses. We talk about the Jews and talk about them and say, oh, they're white. No. You know what? You can't come in their communities and take over, but everybody can come in our community and take over, right? Why? Because we all stuck on Jesus saved me, and all I got to do is just believe and just go get emotional. I want something I can feel, right? But I'm going to close this section right here, and we're going to come back to part 4. All right? Shalom, shalom, shalom.